The global trade landscape is once again being reshaped. Since his return to the White House in January 2025, President Donald Trump has wasted no time in reviving his protectionist agenda. New tariffs, those familiar tools of economic warfare, have been levied on a range of goods from close allies and rivals alike. From automobiles to aluminum, the impact of these tariffs is already being felt across the global economy, raising prices for consumers and businesses, and threatening to disrupt carefully constructed supply chains. This resurgence of protectionism has not gone unanswered. In a significant development, Germany and Canada have emerged as vocal critics of the Trump administration's trade policies, forging a transatlantic alliance to counter what they perceive as a dangerous assault on the rules-based trading order. Their joint stand, prominently displayed at the recent Hanover Messe trade fair, signals a potential turning point in international relations. Is this the beginning of a new trade war? And what does it mean for the future of globalization? President Trump's decision to impose new tariffs should come as no surprise to seasoned observers of his administration. Throughout his political career, Trump has consistently espoused a mercantilist view of trade, one that sees economic exchange as a zero-sum game where one country's gain is inevitably another's loss. This perspective, often summarized in the slogan "America First," prioritizes domestic industries and workers, even if it comes at the expense of international cooperation and global economic growth. Since taking office in January 2025, Trump has moved swiftly to translate his protectionist rhetoric into concrete action. On April 1, 2025, the administration announced a new round of reciprocal tariffs, targeting goods from a range of countries, including key U.S. trading partners like Canada, Mexico, and the European Union. The following day, April 2, 2025, new tariffs on automobile imports came into effect, further escalating trade tensions. These new measures come on top of existing tariffs on steel, aluminum, and other products imposed during Trump's previous term in office. The response to Trump's tariff offensive has been swift and multifaceted. While some countries have opted for a more conciliatory approach, hoping to negotiate their way out of the escalating trade war, others have chosen a path of defiance, responding to U.S. tariffs with retaliatory measures of their own. Among the most vocal critics of Trump's trade policies are Germany and Canada, two countries with long-standing economic and political ties to the United States. Germany, the economic powerhouse of Europe, and Canada, a major exporter of natural resources and manufactured goods, have found common cause in their opposition to Trump's protectionist agenda. Their alliance, forged in the face of shared economic threats, represents a significant development on the global stage. It not only underscores the deep unease with which many countries view the Trump administration's trade policies, but also suggests the potential emergence of a new bloc of nations committed to upholding the principles of free trade and multilateralism. The German-Canadian alliance against U.S. tariffs took center stage at the recent Hanover Messe trade fair, one of the world's largest industrial technology events. With Canada as the partner country for this year's fair, the event provided a prominent platform for both countries to voice their shared concerns about the future of global trade. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, speaking at the opening ceremony of the fair, delivered a pointed critique of Trump's "my country first" approach to trade. Scholz, a staunch defender of the rules-based international order, argued that protectionism and isolationism are not the answer to the complex challenges facing the global economy. Instead, he called for greater international cooperation and a renewed commitment to the principles of free trade, arguing that a multilateral approach is essential to fostering economic growth and prosperity for all nations. Scholz's remarks, delivered to a global audience of business leaders, policymakers, and journalists, sent a clear message that Germany is prepared to stand up to what it perceives as unfair and harmful trade practices by the United States. Section 5 Habeck's hockey metaphor, standing up to protectionism. German Vice Chancellor Robert Habeck, also speaking at the Hanover Messe trade fair, echoed Scholz's criticisms of U.S. trade policies. Habeck, a member of Germany's Green Party, is known for his blunt speaking style and his willingness to challenge conventional wisdom. In his remarks at the fair, he didn't mince words, describing the current tariff situation as madness and calling for a firm response from the European Union. To drive home his point about the need for a resolute stance against protectionism, Habeck invoked a sporting metaphor, drawing a parallel between international relations and the rough-and-tumble world of ice hockey. Sometimes, he remarked, you have to play a little bit tougher on the ice. Habeck's metaphorical appeal to a sport deeply ingrained in Canadian culture was not lost on his audience. Indeed, his remarks were met with applause from the Canadian delegation, highlighting the shared sense of purpose that underpins the German-Canadian alliance. Section 6. Economic Implications, the High Cost of Tariffs. The economic implications of Trump's tariff offensive are far-reaching and potentially devastating. Tariffs, which are essentially taxes on imported goods, are designed to make foreign products more expensive, thereby protecting domestic industries from competition. However, while tariffs may provide a temporary boost to certain sectors of the economy, they also come at a cost. By raising the price of imported goods, tariffs reduce consumer purchasing power and increase production costs for businesses that rely on imported inputs. Moreover, tariffs often lead to retaliatory measures from trading partners, setting off a chain reaction that can quickly escalate into a full-blown trade war. This is precisely the scenario that many economists fear is unfolding now. As the United States imposes more tariffs, its trading partners are responding in kind, leading to a spiral of protectionism that threatens to undermine global economic growth. The International Monetary Fund, for example, has warned that a global trade war could shave as much as 0.5% off global GDP growth. Section 7. Political Fallout. Shifting alliances on the world stage. The political fallout from Trump's tariff offensive is no less significant than the economic implications. By pursuing a unilateralist approach to trade, the Trump administration has alienated many of America's closest allies, including Canada, Mexico, and the European Union. These countries, which share democratic values and a commitment to the rules-based international order, are increasingly looking for ways to counter what they perceive as a dangerous and destabilizing shift in U.S. foreign policy. The German-Canadian alliance against U.S. tariffs is a case in point. This transatlantic partnership, forged in the face of shared economic threats, underscores the growing rift between the United States and its traditional allies. It also suggests the potential emergence of a new bloc of nations committed to upholding the principles of free trade and multilateralism. One of the more controversial aspects of President Trump's foreign policy has been his suggestion that the United States should consider annexing Canada. This idea, first floated by Trump during his 2016 presidential campaign, has been met with a mixture of amusement and alarm, both in Canada and abroad. While few observers believe that Trump is serious about annexing Canada, his remarks have nonetheless raised concerns about the future of U.S.-Canadian relations. The formation of a German-Canadian alliance against U.S. tariffs further complicates matters. By aligning itself with Germany, a country that strongly opposes Trump's protectionist agenda, Canada is sending a clear message that it is prepared to stand up to what it perceives as bullying tactics from its southern neighbor. This show of defiance, coupled with the growing economic and political costs of Trump's trade policies, makes the prospect of annexation even more remote. Section 9. Conclusion. A new era in global trade? The global trade landscape is in a state of flux. The resurgence of protectionism, spearheaded by the Trump administration, has created deep uncertainty and anxiety among businesses and policymakers around the world. The German-Canadian alliance against U.S. tariffs, while still in its early stages, represents a significant development in this evolving trade environment. This transatlantic partnership, forged in the face of shared economic threats, has the potential to reshape global trade patterns and redefine the rules of the game. Whether it will succeed in its goal of countering U.S. protectionism remains to be seen. What is clear, however, is that the world is entering a new era of global trade, one characterized by shifting alliances, heightened tensions,